Everyone who is ginger, who has red hair, those are black people. All gingers are black people. If they have red hair, they are black.
Does this mean I can say it? I feel like this means I can say it. Hold on. I'm going to run down to the hood real quick and do a little scientific research. Yeah, so they didn't think that my red hair made me black. I recommend not saying it. Like, don't do it. It all makes sense.
I just need to remind y'all again. Everyone who is ginger, who has red hair, those are black people. All gingers are black people. If they have red hair, they are black. You see a white man with red hair, that's a black man.
Everything makes sense. It all makes sense. Whole life makes sense within 30 seconds. This is our time. This is our time. Feeling the love. Some people are getting emotional, saying, I've never felt this much love. The word ginger is now preserved for the black community and the redhead community. New days, a new life for me. Fully dog, if you love drum and bass and say, Bomba Clad! Bomba Clad!
Child, I done woke up on this side of TikTok where the gingers are back. Or shall I say, black. Listen, I did not know that they was treating y'all like this, baby, but welcome. Welcome to the community. I love this for y'all. Few things I need y'all to know. I need y'all to know the ER, the hard ER, done. Don't let them call you that no more. You are gingers. You hear me? Gingers, okay? No more ginger, all right? Next, we don't let them touch our hair. That beautiful, gorgeous hair of yours, somebody try to touch it, back the hell up. Don't touch our hair. We don't do that, all right? Next, y'all want y'all invite to the cookout. Y'all got it, baby. But let's ease on in there. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to cook nothing. Bring stuff, that's like forks, plates, cups, foil, things like that. But I'm excited. We outside this summer, baby.
I'm really trying to act like this whole ginger people finding out that they were black and waking up excited today isn't a problem for me. That's because it ain't. Bitch, I'm excited for every last one of y'all. Welcome, fam. I'm really trying to act like this whole ginger people finding out that they were black and waking up excited today isn't a problem for me. That's because it ain't. Bitch, I'm excited for every last one of y'all. Welcome, fam.
Incredible has happened to redheads and gingers. I don't know if you know, but many people of the black community have came out and said that they see redheads and gingers aligned with many of the genetic features and the characteristics of black women. This has really brought up such an important issue because many of these gorgeous women are coming forward and saying that they can identify that something is off with the way that redheads are treated by many people in the white community. And this is something difficult thing to talk about because it's not racism. I don't know where that falls, but being born with red hair and super pale skin but not feeling accepted is a really, really tough spot to be in. You get bullied from a young age. You're made to believe it's horrible. People insult you without even meaning to. Some of the things that people have said to me because I have ginger hair growing up has been the most unhinged experience of my life. I once met a woman who came up to me and she said, I like your ginger hair, but honestly, my biggest fear when I was pregnant was that I was going to give birth to a ginger baby. And I didn't know what to say, and I just was like, okay. She's like, and I'm really sorry for saying this. She was like, but I actually think I would prefer a child with a disability than red hair. And that is genuinely, hand on heart, what someone has said to me. That is just honestly not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the type of comments that you're experiencing when you're growing up with red hair. So for people in the black community to come out and call out that something is not right in the way that people with red hair are treated, and to call out the fact that something is off, is the best thing that could happen.
I knew ginger is black trend is like going crazy. So I'm like literally studying about the hair colors and types and whatever. So in a part of our fucking lesson, we had to study like the melanin because there's two types. And one is called the feel melanin, which is what gives ginger their red and yellowish hair color or whatever. And I'm not thinking about it because it aged so fucking well. Like, what the fuck? If you look this up, it will give you the perfect explanation of why ginger are black. Like, it's crazy. No fucking way. Like, I'm gagging right now. And before you motherfuckers try to get on here saying that I'm lying, bitch, look what it says. 2 types of melanin. So I'm...
What's going on, guys? So for as long as I can remember, people been asking me, yo, what are you? Are you mixed? Where you from? Why are you, the way you are? I'm like, this whole time I'm from Louisiana, I'm thinking I'm just a product of my environment. This is just how people are where I'm from. But TikTok has informed me that all these 36 years, I did not know that I'm actually black. What? So now I gotta tell my wife, you actually not married to a white guy, you married to a black dude. And I gotta tell my kids, yo, y'all not even mixed. It makes sense now. Hey,
You're a ginger, so you're black, right?
listen to this guy.
Actually, yeah.
He actually did the research.
Yeah, 500 years ago. I'm talking about the TikTok trend. Yeah, I know it's a trend, but actually, though, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma is Queen Nzinga. Yeah, right, bro. Wasn't she some boss bitch queen who ruled Congo and Angola? She protected her people against getting taken away as slaves from the Portuguese, but they took her son. No. Everyone knows she never had a son. That's what everybody thinks. But before she was queen, she had a son, and her brother was king. But her brother was threatened by her lineage, and she got pissed. So then she killed his son. But then he ordered the Portuguese to kill her son, and she thought he was dead. Wait, this is... So they gave him a Spanish name, Duarte, and moved his real name to his last name, Monazinga. Wait. Duarte Monazinga. Portuguese? Stop lying. It says here he's American. It says here, died in Virginia. You see, when America was colonized, they brought him here to be a slave, which led to him being the first black man to win his freedom in Virginia. Wow. Then he married a white woman, and 3 generations later, they joined the KKK, starting with the Great Majority. Hold on. Nzinga, Mozingo. Exactly. Nzinga, Mozingo, Monzingo, Monzingo, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. So what, you're saying you're African royalty? No. I'm just saying, look at the notes. But if this is all true, do you realize Nzinga's brother got exactly what he wanted? To end a royal bloodline. You've been whitewashed. But you're ginger, so that didn't really work. Yes, I am.
On, and especially for the haters, because God knows you motherfuckers are watching, and we know exactly who you are. The ones who are out here screaming, "Oh, gingers aren't black," they're just using the dude. Listen, let me break it down for you why this is going as viral as it is, and why y'all don't get it. All right, clear, plain and simple. If you are a redhead, a real redhead, you likely got bullied your entire life for having red hair. If you're like me, you've been called fire crotch, carrot top, gingers have no soul, rather be dead than red. My own dad used to bust my balls with that one, right? Leprechaun, my mom called me that this morning. Do the carpets match the drapes? All this stuff, yeah, we've all heard it all. All right? If you're like me, that shit never came from the black kids. I don't think I've ever been made fun of for my hair and for being a redhead once in my entire life by somebody who was black. As a matter of fact, I was always friends with the black kids. They always welcomed me in with open arms and never gave me a problem. So to me, when this whole thing popped off, it was no surprise at all. Because first things first, as a redhead, we never felt like we fit in anywhere. The deal is, man, black people are super accepting. They're always loving. They're always fun. They always kind of include everybody. For all y'all who are showing us all the love out there, who are welcoming us in with open arms, we love you. We appreciate you. We thank you very much. For all the bullies out there who are still trying to talk shit, dude, it ain't working anymore. All right? Drop it. Enough's enough.
There's a viral claim going around that people with ginger or red hair are actually black. But scientifically, that's just not true. Red hair is caused by mutations in the MC1R gene, which is most commonly found in people of Northern and Western European descent, especially in places like Ireland and Scotland. While it's true that red hair can appear in people of African descent, it's extremely rare and usually due to different genetic mutations, not the same ones seen in Europeans. Race, scientifically speaking, is based on a combination of ancestry, geographic origin, and genetic traits, not just hair color. So while red hair can pop up in multiple ethnic groups, it doesn't change someone's racial background. This viral trend might be funny, but it's not rooted in genetics or biology. So no, ginger people are not secretly black. They just carry a unique and fascinating gene. There's a viral...
All right, y'all, so here's some historical and biblical reasons why all gingers are black.
Irish were the first slaves in the Americas, predating the first black African slaves by almost a decade. Slavery is perhaps one of the oldest profit-making endeavors in human history, and the Irish were a special target for 1,000 years. Throughout history, the Irish were persecuted by one faction or another. Those transported unwillingly and effectively sold were not considered to be indentured. The Irish introduction to slavery was during the first Viking raids in the year 795, lasting through the mid-9th century. This period saw the Irish killed and enslaved. In 841, the port that became known as Dublin was taken and occupied by Ivar the Boneless, and by 853, this part of Ireland was a Norse trading center, and slaves were a large part of it.
During 1649 and 1653, thousands of Irish were sent to the Caribbean against their will. During the initial stages of sugar production, Irish servants often found themselves working side by side with black slaves. According to historian James Dunn, they became wild and unruly in this extreme period of time. You got a bunch of indentured servants who came from England to try to make a better life. Then you got a bunch of slaves who were brought there against their will, and you mixing that together?
We all know and understand the story of black slavery here in America. But what if I told you that the first slaves sold on ships were not black? They were Irish, y'all. In 1600, there was over 300,000 Irish men, women, and children who were sold off into slavery by the British Crown, shipped off the Caribbean islands into the Americas, y'all. They were labeled as human cargo. This was before the trans-Atlantic slave trade hit its peak. Moses warned us in Deuteronomy 28. He said the Most High will bring a nation against us like an eagle. That's the British and American colonizers, y'all. Deuteronomy 28:68 says that you were going back into Egypt, that's bondage, again with ships. That happened to the blacks, but it also happened to the Irish, y'all, who were originally melanated. Have you ever wondered why that some gingers have no features that resemble Europeans? It's because it's a recessive gene that comes from a Shemitic bloodline. It comes from Esau's bloodline. And as I covered in my last video, Esau shared a womb with Jacob, who was black. That makes Esau a black man. Now, this recessive gene is described as having red hair, and the freckles was a mark to let them know that they were always melanated and of Hebrew descent. Not only that, that they were also scattered and enslaved. Yeah, that's right. You've been lied to. Bible already laid it out for you plainly. Our people are everywhere, and the gingers are our distant cousins. We've all been scattered abroad, but still chose. Follow the War Sheep podcast, y'all, where we waking up the sheep. Don't forget.
Red hair might have African origins, and that's blowing people's minds. The MC1R gene mutation doesn't discriminate by ethnicity. It's a human trait that appears across populations. Scientists have found evidence of the redhead gene in African countries, challenging our Eurocentric beauty standards. What's fascinating is how these genetic markers traveled through human migration over thousands of years. Black gingers are living proof of our shared genetic heritage. Next time you see someone with red hair, remember it's a beautiful reminder that human diversity comes from the same genetic foundation. We're all connected in ways we don't even realize.
This whole thing about gingers being part of the black community low-key hits home for me, especially someone in Ireland as well, being ginger. I kind of wanted to talk on this and like my own accounts of like what it was like growing up as ginger. and then also my interactions with the black community as well growing up, which was a huge focal point for my development as a teenager in terms of social life and actually just how I developed confidence in general. But it's really funny and it's quite endearing to actually kind of see it blow up to this scale, especially on a global sense. I don't think it's really hit Ireland, so to speak, so much, just because it's a lot more normal here. But that doesn't steer away from the amount of abuse that people would have got when they were kids, particularly myself, for being ginger. I'm gay myself as well, based in Dublin, and I'm 27. But I remember when I was a kid, oh my God, I hated being ginger so much. Like, I got bullied for it brutally. I hung out quite a bit with older people when I was younger, but like even like from the age of 4 onwards, I remember like feeling like a disease. I was battered for it all the time. I remember being hopped on by 18-year-olds, like getting dragged by my 2 feet at my own front door of my house because I was ginger. Like, it was endless. I remember the kind of psychological torture that caused me and just the internal turmoil that caused me as a child as well, just with self-confidence.
It's in ginger.
I can't get caught up when I see you. You're so beautiful. I can't get caught up.
The black community literally saved my physical life.
I have so many emotions right now, I can't even process them all. The last 48 hours of my life, I've never felt more alone in my life.
Feeling truly wanted.
I'm black. I got a lot of mixed emotions.
This past week, I have felt more connected, more appreciated, and more loved than I ever have from a community of people in my entire life.
I hope there's a good outcome to all of this.
This whole thing about gingers being part of the black community low-key hits home for me.
And I can just see how loving and genuine all of you guys are.
This past week has been the best week of my life. And I just want to show my appreciation, my gratitude to, all the kind words, all the love, everything that I've received.
The black community literally saved my physical life.
And I'm 41, and it's all starting to make sense now. But some of y'all already knew.
I say, nigga, I'm from the dirty south. With closed mouth, don't get fed. The wish a nigga would say put money on your head. Hey, got his arm out, he showing money spread. I work for every damn dollar. Abbreviation going feed. My mama went to Carter in 88. She won't be Roxanne. Talking high school back when still with top 10. My daddy at the Cliff Club playing bones every night. Heartbreak at a hotel. He made on host at Kelly Price. Candy paint Cadillac with peanut butter inside. My granddad had the sickest whip. I'm talking lose your appetite. Holland Hills and Pleasant Grove, all down Beltline. My sister got Melissa's on, they sweating like a loan. On the dirty south, with closed mouth, don't get fed. The wish a nigga would say put money on your head. Hey, got his arm out, he showing money spread. I work for every damn dollar, abbreviation going feed. I'm from the dirty south, with closed mouths, don't get fed. The wish a nigga would say put money on your head. Hey, got his arm out, he showing money.
Listen, I'm 41, and it's all starting to make sense now. But some of y'all already knew.
I'm from the...
It took one woman to come on here and say, gingers are black. For y'all to believe, finally, that I'm black? That's crazy, bro. I have 2 black parents. 2 parents darker than me. And nobody was believing me until this lady, shout out to her though, shout out to her, until this queen, let me fix that. This queen came on here and said, gingers are black. So forget all the family pictures, all the melanin, excuse me, not right now. I've been inside, I look like a sugar cookie, whatever. Summertime, excuse the melanin, right? Excuse the hair, excuse everything, you know what I'm saying? Forget all that. I was still a white man. Now, and only now that she says something, now everybody call me black. It's crazy, but shout out to her. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the gingers around the world, white, black, everybody. Shout out to y'all, man. I grew up hating my freaking freckles. You know what I'm saying? They was calling me a ripe banana. I got called fire crotch. Yo, Sinbad, Jadena, any name in the book, I heard it. Finally, we getting some love. Damn.
Gingers are black. Where was this energy for Halle Bailey when she was Ariel, though? Lock the doors and bar the fucking gates, because I don't remember a single ginger person calling Halle cousin. I remember them saying, not my Ariel, not my Little Mermaid. They were the most pressed group of people harassing this young woman online all over social media, berating her, being racist as fuck to her. Okay, so I know people are gonna say it's a joke, Melissa, take a joke, you're being so serious. When you give people an inch, they're gonna take a mile. And you know what, this trend is very telling, because if you ask a non-black person what their favorite thing is about black people, you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say, oh, I love that they're great hype people. They make me feel cool. It's all about how black people embrace them and they love it, right? But the embracing doesn't go the other way around. You have people that want and love to be welcome to black spaces, but they don't want to welcome black people into their spaces. Gingers are black.
Don't get out of pocket. Come correct. Watch that hard R. It's ginger. Don't get out of pocket. Come correct. Watch that hard R. It's ginger.
All right, Shalom. Thank you for doing all of that. I want to first off, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Rachakabadash, double honor to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, elect of you Israelites. Okay, and that's pretty much how I'm going to give a little info on this whole TikTok, redhead, Irish, whatever trend, right? But this is something here at Great Millstone we've been talking about for quite some time now. You can't judge it by the color of a person's skin. You got to go deeper, and this is a skill that you men of the Lord, you teachers out there, y'all that's really involved, and really all of the Israelites that believe of the hopeful elect. You have to develop a sense of discernment on who's who, because this is going to become a problem later. There's going to be Edomites that are going to try to slide in to the congregation because we're accepting certain beliefs. Okay, and that's the key: the beliefs, not the skin color. It's the belief. Okay, and there will, through the Spirit, pretty sure we're going to develop some sort of understanding that the hopeful elect will have to fall in under, and be connected to. Okay, and then a way to discern those certain things. Okay, so, but just to simply say, the discernment has to turn up. So anyway, not really going to pull a bunch of precepts. That's for a different video. Lord, when I come back and do that, when I have a little more time. But I just want to set these next chain of videos up with this. Okay, and so I chat GPT historically, why are they called Black Irish? It says the term Black Irish, and this, you got to understand, this picks up stuff off the internet. So this is all common posted information. And the thing that we're talking about is that it's not a common understanding. You can't, matter of fact, I do have a scripture, but you can't just discern this simply with the natural eye. Okay, you have to have a spiritual eye to it. Okay, well, I'll pull that. Let me pull it now. All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 2. This is the only precept I'm going to grab in this video. Then I'll get that information I had from the chat GPT and close out. There was another funny one. And this was made for entertainment, okay? But there's an edification that comes in entertainment when a lot of truth is said in jest, okay? And like I said, even in these string of videos, you still have to chew the meat and spit the bones out, as we like to say, which basically means take what is fruitful and leave out the you know, what is profitable spiritually, and leave out the BS. I mean, there were other videos I could have posted. You know, a lady saying, "I'm trying to put my application to the cookout. You know, I'm a ginger lady, and you know, I want to make the mac and cheese." And we know Jake is serious about their mac and cheese, but she made it. She brought it to the cookout, and you know, she showed the footage, and it was a hit. Okay, but just because you can make mac and cheese don't make you a Jake. Just because you make it like Jake and you got a recipe that way don't make you a Jake. But for something deeper in your spirit is the point that we are trying to get across here in this video. Okay, it's something deeper involved, and this is what we've been breaking. Great Millstone and the affiliates with the proper understanding have been breaking this down to you. It's a spiritual thing. Okay, I'll get one more, but this is gonna hit. Matter of fact, I'll quote it. It's Romans the 8th chapter. The Spirit, the Holy Spirit, right, bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. So there's certain things, not because you were oppressed, but simply because there's certain righteous qualities in you that naturally come out. Okay, and this is going to back it up. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, I'm going to start with verse 9. It says, I read the NLT, it says, that is what the scriptures mean when they say, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what the Most High, Yahweh, prepared for those who love him. But it was to us that the Most High revealed these things by his Spirit. Okay? And it's the Holy Spirit that reveals these things. For his Spirit searches out everything and shows us the Most High's deep secrets. Okay? So it's the Holy Spirit that lets us know that we're the children of Israel. Okay? Through the Holy Spirit. And really, you know, as I'll try to, well, I'm going to just save that for the other video. But it says, no one can know a person's thoughts except that person's own spirit. And no one can know the Most High's thoughts except the Most High's own spirit. Okay? And if you've been paying attention to these scriptures, the Most High put a piece of his spirit in his people. We have his spirit in us. That's why the body of Yahushua is within the spirit of the people. Okay, start with the believers. You can't just say just all together, but main so the believers, and that's what the New Testament is truly about. Okay, the believers versus the non-believers. Okay, and it didn't matter what you looked like. It mattered what type of spirit you had on you, and if that spirit connected with the Holy Spirit. All right, this is what this is talking about, and that's the discernment. So it makes our job a lot easier. I don't care if gingers are black. I only care if they're of the elect, right? Simply put, that's the other video. It says, and we have received the Most High Spirit, not the world's spirit, so we can know the wonderful things the Most High has freely given us. So you'll connect into that spirit of the Most High with it, right? You'll start to see things. Now, here's where it gets. It says, when we tell you these things, we do not use words that come from human wisdom. Instead, we speak words given to us by the Spirit, using the Spirit's words to explain spiritual truths. Okay, so this whole gingers or black thing is a spiritual thing that you have to be able to see. Okay, it's a spiritual thing. You can't look at it by, because their hair looks nappy, or because they've been oppressed. You can't look at those reasons. Okay, and it goes deeper into the spirit of our people. But even furthermore, it goes into the righteous spirit of our people. Okay, and we know that the 2/3 don't really have a righteous spirit about them. Okay, they're I mean, some of them just don't believe. They're good people by the world standard, but they're just not of the elect. They just don't believe. That's a very good possibility as well. But when you start digging into the spirit of our people, you start to see who's who. You can't judge the book by its cover. All right. And some people were raised in a certain culture. Okay, and other people were raised in a similar culture to yourself. But that doesn't change who they are or how their spirit connects with the spirit of the Israelites. All right. It says, but but people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from the Most High Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it. This goes over some people's head. They try to break it down with science. Science ain't gonna give you the truth of this. Okay? Even though there are some scientific facts that back up claims on both sides. So they are and they're not, and they're genetic mutations and this gene and two types of melanin and okay. Okay, that's just backing it up. But the spiritual side of it is the part that you really gotta put together. And I'm gonna throw a couple somethings out there because I grew up around a couple gingers. Okay? And here's the other part of it. One of like there was 3 different types. One of them was white with the freckles and the whole 9, the red hair, the orange, and all, you're right. The other one was black, the reddish brown hair. Okay, and he even said, "Man, I'm part Irish." We laughed and we were like, "Hey, so we teased him and whatever else, no big deal. He was just one of us, no big deal." Then there was a Hispanic one as well. He looked white, redheaded, but he was full-blood Mexican. Okay? Which I'm going to leave you with a picture of Canelo Alvarez at the end of this. Okay? So you got to get past the look and the outside. If you want to believe in this Bible, you got to get beyond the look of things. All right? That's what this scripture is breaking down. Paul's writing. It says, "It sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it. For only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit, Holy Spirit, means." Okay? Those who are spiritual can evaluate all things, but they themselves cannot be evaluated by others because it's above a natural man's thinking. You have to have a spiritual mind, which is higher than the natural mind. Okay? "For who can know the Lord's thoughts? Who knows enough to teach him? But we understand these things, for we can have the mind of Hamashiach Yahushua, which had the mind of Yahweh." Okay, Yahushua had the mind of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and we share in that mind. Okay, in that spirit. Okay, so which is from the origin and creation. So we can see the spiritual things in everything. And that's why this is such a big deal that you're able to discern this, no matter what science and Chat GPT and whatever else says. You have to be able to look at it. And just because somebody claims that they hate Edomites or they hate whatever, doesn't make them somebody that we should just accept. They have to accept the whole doctrine. That's why this thing is so big. That's why this is the reed, okay, in Revelation, which is the scripture, which is the way of life that you live by in the scripture. That's the measuring stick. So without jumping too far ahead or jumping too far back, I'm gonna try to get that all that put together in another video. Lord, when I get that out through the Spirit, Lord willing, of course. But let me go back to the Chat GPT. All right, Chat GPT says the term Black Irish is a phrase with unclear and debated origins, and is not a term used officially in Ireland, but rather one that emerged in Irish American context. Okay, here are the main theories about its origin: dark hair and features. This is the most common explanation. Black Irish refers to Irish people, especially those of Gaelic origins, right, who have dark hair and dark eyes. And if you dig into this, I'm sure if you go down through Gaelic and you go down and you trace these histories back, you're going to keep digging into and keep asking more questions, because the thing about Google and even ChatGPT and different search engines like these AI search engines, it's all about the questions you ask. The deeper you get into asking better questions, you read a little bit, you learn something, you ask, put some of that in there, you keep getting deeper, and then they can't hide with basic stuff. You got to do the deeper research. Study to show thyself approved. Okay? It says, rather than the stereotypical fair hair and blue eyes, this phenotype was especially common in west of Ireland. Some have speculated, though it's unproven, that these features came from ancient Iberian, Ibar, which is Hebrew, okay, meaning from the past, or Mediterranean ancestry. Okay, What do you think our people are from? So they leave clues, but they won't substantiate these clues because they've done such a diligent search and paid a lot of money, and they've made sure that they've whitewashed the internet and whitewashed history to the best of their ability to hide these truths. We were never supposed to find out that we were the Hebrew Israelites. Our spirit was never supposed to tie into that. That's the part that they couldn't discern. They didn't realize our spirit would eventually turn to that, and the Most High had it set up to be this way anyway. Okay? John the Baptist had to come in and bring us back to it, which we know he came already and tied us back into this thing. Okay? Through the Spirit. If you know that, then you know, great. And who that man was. It says, Spanish Armada theory. A popular but historically doubtful myth says that survivors of the Spanish Armada 1588 shipwrecked off the Irish coast and intermarried with the locals, introducing darker features. There's little genetic or historical evidence to support this theory, but it has persisted in folklore. Irish American and identity. The United States, the term black Irish was sometimes used by Irish immigrants and their descendants to explain dark hair or to distinguish themselves from other Irish stereotypes. Some scholars suggest it may, and when has the word black ever been used positively, right? Anyway, some scholars suggest it may have also served as a way to obscure or soften the stigmatized African ancestry in some families, especially in the racially sensitive context of 19th century America. Okay, myth and romanticism. Some uses of Black Irish are more romantic or literary, connected with Irish nationalism or identity, describing a fierce and passionate type of Irish character rather than actual appearance. Okay, it's talking about more character things within the person. Okay, and you can pick up on these things spiritually. You should be able to discern the things that connect to our people, the things that don't. But more so when you meet the individual and you see what they're all about. Some of the examples I gave you in the long video ahead, okay, was more so about the connection of the people through their spirit. Okay, how their spirit was connected to our people. Okay, and then I'll try to correlate the righteous spirit, makes it really easy. Okay, so in short, Black Irish most commonly refers to Irish people with dark hair and eyes, but the origins of the term are more myth and speculation than established fact. Yep, that won't happen. That's why it's spiritually discerned, right? It is more prevalent in American discourse than in Ireland itself. I said, are the Black Irish connected to the Moor/Dark Ages? And look, that's a loaded question, but hey, they'll answer it. But they also have loaded answers. There is no solid historical or genetic evidence linking the so-called Black Irish directly to the Moors or to specific events from the Dark Ages in a meaningful or widespread way. However, the idea has circulated, especially in pop culture and fringe history. Let's unpack it a bit. Who were the Moors? The Moors were Muslim peoples of North Africa and Arab descent who ruled parts of Spain and Portugal from the 8th to the 15th century and had a strong presence in Iberia, not Ireland. We back to that word Iberia, right? The Iberian connection myth. Some theories claim that dark-haired Irish people, the Black Irish, descend from Moorish or Iberian settlers who came to Ireland at various times, either ancient seafarers, traders, or shipwrecked sailors from the Spanish Armada. However, genetic studies don't show significant Moorish or North African influence in the Irish gene pool, which some of those science ones did say that. But like I said, it's a spiritual thing. You have to have the spiritual eyes to truly see it. And dang, it was another video I seen. I didn't put it on here. I forgot where I saw it when this first popped up. I ran through a string of them. And matter of fact, I think I do know where. So I'll give a few more ginger ones on the way out if I could find those ones. But there was one that was saying, it's okay if you don't understand. It's okay. We understand. Okay? And they were, it was, I forget, a man or woman, whoever it was, but it's like, it's okay if you don't understand the connection that gingers are black. It's okay. But we do. Us that are connected, we do understand. And it's a spiritual thing. The same thing with blacks and Hispanics. It's a spiritual thing. And Native Americans, it's a spiritual thing. And Israelite foreigners, it's a spiritual thing. Okay? These things are all spiritual. You can't just pick it up and be like, I get it. No, it's deeper. It ties into your spirit. And I'll see if I can find that one. I'll put a few more that I had put to the side, but see if I can find a couple of those. But anyway, it says, Dark Ages influence. During the Dark Ages, roughly 5th to 10th centuries, Ireland was roughly isolated from the continent. There is no documented Moorish presence in Ireland during the period. Most contact with the Vikings, Celts, and Anglo-Saxons, not Moors or Africans. And these are titles of people. When you go deeper, you start realizing there were Jake Vikings and Celts and Anglo-Saxons, which I believe the word Anglo-Saxons, it goes back and forth between so-called Edomites and so-called Jakes. But Anglo-Saxon, I believe, breaks down to angelic sons of Isaac. Okay, but you can do your own research on that. I heard that years ago. It says race and myth making. Sometimes, especially in the Americas, the Black Irish label has been used to hint at African ancestry in Irish families, often covertly due to racial prejudices in earlier centuries. And that was deep. When you remember the movie 12 Years a Slave, that was who the Brad Pitt character just kind of slipped in and put that part in there, a little nugget in there. Okay? And though he was treated as a lower class white, and that was kind of how it went. Okay? Though he didn't have a disdain for blacks like the slave masters did. You know, and even when you go back into that one of them first ones with the white, said, no, actually my family goes back, and then we joined then my great grandfather would have joined the KKK. A lot of Jake that are rednecks. There's a lot of little Israelite foreigner Jakes that are rednecks that hate niggas. A lot of them. And I saw a video which, you see these things and it don't make sense until you start putting the pieces together later that it could fit in. But he was like, there's nobody that hates niggas more than black people. There's not because you are an embarrassment to us. There's no group of people on earth that hates niggas more than black people. Understand that. Okay, and the other part makes me think of the scripture, as a whore is jealous of a righteous woman. Okay, it's that way. We just can't get along. We can't line up that way. We hate you whore ass niggas, man. Okay, we're out here trying to be righteous and trying to pull ourselves together, but you 2/3, man, are just terrible. And I say sometimes, that's you Asian niggas, you white niggas, you Arab niggas, whatever, African niggas. I'm talking about all you other Jakes out there that may look like the other heathen scattered amongst the heathen, but act like straight lowlifes, man. Okay? We don't like y'all either. All right? And that's what this is boiling down to, that righteous spirit that has to be in our people to be of the elect. Those are the people that I enjoy the most. Okay, out of all people on the planet, the hopeful elect, those that are putting on the characteristics of Yahweh Shai. Okay, those are the people that are the best people on the planet, man. Those are my favorite people. And I don't care what your skin looks like or what culture you came from, but picking up this Hebrew Israelite culture and fitting into that naturally, that's what it's really all about. Anyway, it says, These stories sometimes invoke the Moors as a way to explain darker features without acknowledging African heritage directly. This is more about social identity than actual history. There you go, which is a spiritual identity. In summary, there is no verified historical link between the Moors and the Black Irish. The connection is mostly mythical or speculative, often used to explain physical traits. The term Black Irish, and see, this was angled toward Black Irish more than gingers, right? But this was kind of how they would throw that out there. It says remains ambiguous and is more cultural lore than factual history. If you're interested, I can show you what modern genetic studies say about Irish ancestry. It says a breakdown of modern genetic studies say about Irish ancestry. Okay, let's see where we're at on time. 45. Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah, let's see. You can kind of read this. I'm not going to read it. You can pause and read it. There's a lot of what we read already. Okay. Okay, a lot of what we read already. All right. I'm going to ask it another question, and then we'll hit a few more videos and close. Just to go deeper real quick, another quick search that I thought that was interesting. Melanin, which is one type, because I asked what are the two types of melanin. Color, brown to black. Function, provides protection against UV radiation and is the most common type of human hair, skin, and eyes. Subtypes, black eumelanin and brown eumelanin. Now, pheomelanin, color, yellow and reddish brown. Function, less effective at protecting against UV radiation and contributes to red hair, freckles, pinkish tones, and skin. Okay, there is a third less common type. Oh, please. Let's see. Yes, give me that. Great, let me, okay, melatonin, skin or conditions. Let's see here. Melanin, let's see. Found in the brain, but not typically involved in pigmentation of skin or hair. Okay, so that's cool, great. They like to dive deeper into these topics. Melanin affects things like hair color, tanning, and skin conditions. And see, that's why the scriptures make it easy, that we don't have to go so deep into carnal things, but more spiritual. And that's what Paul was talking about. We didn't have DNA tests and all that back in the time of Paul. Okay, but there were spiritual tests, spiritual DNA tests. Okay, I'm gonna hit one other precept, then I'll go to a couple videos. Hopefully that one is in there, then I'll close. All right. 1 Corinthians 12:2, ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. So we all were in a Gentile state of mind, and you can't just simply discern it by physical characteristics. Okay, and I'm going to jump down. Matter of fact, I'll just, let's see. Yeah, I'll just go verse 4. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit, just like the diversities of looks, diversities of hair texture, different types of melanin, different types of personalities, but all tied into that same Spirit. Okay, and as I go into the other lesson, Lord willing, I'll bring the point out that it's about the righteous spirit. Okay, so let me go into a few more of these TikToks, charge up, and then get the other video. All right. Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez. Okay. If you ever seen this guy, you know, to show you right there. Okay. Come on, man. Dude's a Mexican ginger. Right? And look, Canelo in Spanish means cinnamon. I knew that, but just wanted you to see. Okay, because he looks cinnamon. Looks like the red. Okay, in Spanish. All right, you got to start putting these things and being able to discern these things. Okay, as the men that are growing in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. You just can't go off face value. A lot of you Christians fail because you're looking at a spiritual book with natural eyes or with a natural mind. You're not spiritually discerned. That's why you wrestle so hard against Paul's writings and who Paul's ministry was really waking up. Okay, that he went into all these. Oh, that means everybody. That didn't mean everybody. It means the Israelites that were. Matter of fact, well, that's the other lesson. So let me go back to these TikToks. Lord willing, tune into the other lesson, and I'll get with that. So I'm going to close out here and say Shalom to the hopeful elect, the spirit of Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rachakwadash, the to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, and blessings, much love unto you, elect out there. Shalom. Now, a few videos and then close.
All right, redheads. Don't fuck this up for us. No N-bombs, no overly protesting to be black. We're just going to take what we can get. We're going to ride it out until it's over. Hopefully in time for cookouts in summertime. Don't mess this up. I believe in us. We got it.
Okay, I'm shooting my shot. I heard the gingers are now part of the black community. This is natural ginger hair. Hey. Okay, I'm shooting.
Gingers are black people, but not only that, but they were black people. They were literally black people. Up until the 1940s, Irish people were considered black because even if you had one drop of Negro blood, you were considered black. And they even had a term for it, smoked Irish. Even during segregation, they were never considered to be white. So the movie Braveheart depicts a white man going up against the English army to stop the invasion. But what's wrong about this is that's supposed to be a black man. They told you that the Scottish and the Irish were fighting against the English and that their populations were wiped out by the potato famine or something. But no, actually, they were just deported.
I was looking through footage of my grandfather, who is my mother's dad, and he would use a bit of an old school Cork, right? You'll hear this in a lot older generations, especially in the inner city of Cork, right? And I was thinking to myself, by Christ, Granda George sounds like he's from the middle of Barbados. So
look at all these Jamaican and Caribbean last names. They all sound like Irish and Scottish last names. You got Carter, Parker, Porter, Brown, Smith, Campo, Johnson, McTeague, Macbeth, McShakespeare. These all sound like white ass last names. I'm sorry. Like even my friend from Trinidad and Tobago, he had a white ass last name. I couldn't believe it. Now, as to how Ireland and Scotland became white, it only takes 3 generations of race mixing to turn them completely white. That's it. That's it. You take over the land, and then you give the soldiers the land, and they replace the population. That's it. They used to be black people. That's it. When you mix white people with melanin, they start to have ginger hair and freckles because that's like the genes fighting to be either become white or black. That's what a ginger or a light-skinned person is. They're just someone who has a mixture of both. And once you know that, you can never unsee it. Like this beautiful girl over here, I understand now. This is a beautiful black woman. I understand it now. She used to be somewhere in her lineage. She was black. She still is. Gingers.
These pretty teens are best friends, and they're also something else. Something that may surprise you. We're twins. Believe it or not, they're twins. Yep, we're twins. The same mom. Sisters. Same dad. You heard right. They have the same mom and dad. What are the odds that one would be black and one white? A lot of people are just in shock. Lucy and Maria Aylmer live in Gloucester, England. Maria has a caramel complexion, brown eyes, and thick curly black hair. Lucy has pale white skin, ginger red hair, blue eyes, and
My name's Ruben, if you don't know me, and this is my grandfather. This is my papa, and we came to an agreement. He has agreed that he will not make a TikTok just to watch my stuff because he'll never post anything. But he wanted me to share some history with you guys that is not commonly known, and a lot of people don't learn this stuff in school. The reason I know it is because he shared it with me, and my family members shared history with me that's not often covered in the school system, along with some advice. And also, before anybody's like, why aren't you letting him on your TikTok? I post some crazy things on here, like my internet search history. And then either he's going to have a heart attack or he's going to take me out, okay? Because there was at one point, I was a teenager and we had posted, I was like 18, 19, and we posted this video of us dancing. It was me and my cousins. And he literally sent me a message and was like, I'm the only reason you have a booty and I will shove my foot up it if you don't take that off the internet. So, you know, he might take me out if he saw some of the stuff that I post on here. Like, he's not a fan of a lot of the summer outfits I wear. The first thing that he wanted me to make sure that people were educated on and educate themselves on is the Tulsa Race Massacre. This is something that's not taught a lot in schools. A lot of people have no idea about it. But in 1921, there was a thriving city. They called it Black Wall Street because it was thriving. And it was a town full of African Americans. And white people got upset that this town was just thriving because it was thriving because of black people, and they literally massacred the entire town. He has, well, I guess we have a family member that passed away in that. And it breaks his heart seeing that so many people have no idea about this. Like, it's not covered in regular history. The second large thing that he wanted me to talk about is for people to really look into why you have certain heritage, because there are a lot of white people who will go take an ancestry test and be like, oh my gosh, look, I have like 5% or 10% or whatever the case may be, African American or Hispanic or even Native, but they don't know why that mixture happened. And while his situation is different because my white grandmother in this situation was an immigrant that moved here and had no heritage in the US, he has heritage where we have like half cousins and second cousin, third cousins, whatever it is, where the reason why there's that mixture is because what they did to enslaved people. A lot of people get excited to talk about how, oh my gosh, my DNA test came back and I'm not fully white, I have this like 5%, but not a lot of people want to talk about or learn about how they got that heritage. The man who raised me, my stepdad, was Native, grew up on the reservation, and he is actually the one that first educated me on this, and then my papa educated me more on it. Because it is not talked about a lot. Everybody gets so excited about these DNA tests, but they don't want to talk about how these things come about. They don't want to have those hard conversations and learn their family history. Because a lot of that little like one drop stuff comes from the grape of, you know, obviously without the G, because I can't say that word on here, it'll get removed, of women that their other ancestors enslaved. So I truly am demisexual. And if you don't know what that means, it means I literally only care about personality. Like, for example, some people like to play games on PS5, some people like to play it on the Xbox, some people like to play it on the PC, whatever, you know, they have certain preferences. I just want to play the game or I don't. Like, there's no in between. I've dated both men and women of different races, different backgrounds, different sizes, all of that. And one thing he always told me, he made me promise when I was younger, that anytime I went on a first date with somebody outside of my race, I would ask him why he dated outside of his race. Because there are some men who will straight up tell you, I've even had a date go like this that I walked out. I straight up walked out of that date because I asked him this question on the very first date. I kept my promise, I always have. I asked, why are you dating outside of your race? And that man looked me right in the face and said, because white women are calmer, you know, black women are ghetto and loud and make these scenes, and, you know, just immediately started bashing black women. And I'm gonna tell you something, if you think that the color of my skin is going to make me easier and less loud, I'm not going to just be a problem. I'm about to be the whole fucking problem. Like, if you go on a date with somebody outside of your race and you ask them that question and their immediate response is to bash women of their own race, leave. Get up and leave. I do not care that, oh, your dinner is really good and you don't want to leave dinner. No. Leave the food there. You can go get some more later. I don't care that you think it's rude or bad manners. Tough shit. Okay, I will be rude as much as I need to, because the real rudeness and the real BS is them bashing women of their own race and assuming that I'm going to be easier. Some other advice that he gave is always have a dash camera. Always have a dash camera that faces.
Nigga woman, by the way,
both ways. Always have your driver's license and your insurance and stuff in a packet. So when you get pulled over, you can pull it right out and you have everything on camera. Never assume that that body camera on that cop is working or that it's going to be shown. For example, if you don't know, I have a close friend, her brother Day was literally unalived by the police for shopping while black, basically. And it's been almost 2 months, and they just now were able to get the lawyer to be able to even look at that body cam footage. And his last bit of advice was always teach your kids their history. Teach your family history. Teach the things that a lot of these schools are not. A lot of people assume that the school is going to educate them on U.S. history, and they pick and choose what they want to talk about. He also said stop putting raisins and things for all of the white people. Now, I don't even like raisins, but I've seen some people at some work potlucks. Yeah. I've also talked about how he is a huge government conspiracy theorist with the whole AI and everything. And he wanted me to make sure to remind everybody to stop letting the government constantly pit us against each other when we should be against them and all the bullshit that they're doing. Because all it is a distraction. If we're fighting with each other, we don't notice the shit that they're doing. And that's how they get away with all the stuff that they do. In conclusion, I just want to say, remember that knowledge is the most important thing that you can have. Sharing your history, talking about these things. It only disappears if you let it disappear and don't continue to educate every single generation on these things. And if people keep trying to erase history, it's just going to end up being doomed to repeat itself rather than us learning from it. Also, he wanted me to thank everyone that said we had matching cheekbones. He also wanted to remind everybody that he gets to take credit for the fact I don't need lip injections, even though my lips aren't even that big. But he likes to send me like videos of women with lip injectors and be like, I'm the reason you don't have to buy these. They're not even that big. I have had 2 random women in Austin ask me where I got my lips done, which was really weird because, like, once again, my lips aren't even that big. But thank you, everyone who has been so amazing in the comments and said so many nice things to him.
It's black people. Let's talk about it.
No, the hell we ain't. Listen, on the behalf of the black community and on the behalf of the white community, we want no problem. We ain't trying to bother y'all gender people. All y'all vampires, let's just set that shit straight.
How do I feel about being black? I love it. My whole For You page right now is that gingers are black. First of all, thank you. The biggest thing I want to say is that my whole life, the biggest, by far, biggest cheerleaders of my appearance, of my hair, of my skin, of my freckles, have been black women. It's been from such a beautiful place. It's so sincere. A lot of gingers are coming on here and talking about how we were bullied. And yes, I was too. I was called Casper. Somebody said that I was see-through. I was so pale I was see-through because you could see my veins. I was bullied. We were all bullied. Gingers were not having a moment in the 90s the way that they are now. And second of all, if I get to be an honorary member of the 98%, I am taking that all day. Thank you. That's the team I want to be on. I am so disappointed in my own race, my own gender, and the way that we work against ourselves. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, though, that my experience in life has been anything like what black women deal with. This is all fun and games, and I love it so much. But, like, let's all remember also that, yes, this is hilarious, and yes, we all want to be invited to the cookout so bad. Like, tell me who all going to be there, what can I bring, or nothing. I mean, I do season my food, but anyway, I'm getting off track. I still have white privilege, and gingers, I know we're only 2% of the population, but that's still a good number of people. And maybe if we all like this dialogue and we are all excited about the idea that we get to be maybe like just a tiny bit part of the black community or adjacent to it, then maybe we should like think about what we could do to support them, not just how they've supported us and how sweet this whole conversation is. I worked for a black news show for about 2 years, and almost every staff member was black. And let me tell you, the things that I learned from working there changed my life, changed my perspective. The way that the internal racism that a lot of us have is so secret. You don't even realize necessarily that it's there, but that job like just busted open my brain in such a good way. So yes, please let me be part of this community. It is an incredible community. But also let's remember, like, when I was pregnant and I went to the hospital, I wasn't worried about the quality of care that I was going to get. I knew I was going to be taken care of. Okay? I didn't have to have an army of people in the room with me to make sure that I was listened to. I can go to doctor's appointments without having a friend on the phone because I'm worried that the doctor is going to minimize the pain that I'm in. I can drive a car and get pulled over without fearing for my life. The list goes on and on. So I think this is a really awesome and fun conversation. I think also it is a good time to just remember the reality of the situation as well. If we want the fun part of it, and if we want to be part of the conversation in a playful way, then I think we also need to be part of it in a serious way. How do I feel about being black?
All right, as a ginger, I'm going to chime in on this thing about whether or not gingers are black. And I can tell you specifically, this ginger for damn sure has black in him. As a matter of fact, it originates from Congolese and Angolan from about 3,000 years ago. I traced the genealogy for myself and my family based on these genetic apps. And at first I was like, ain't no way. But then again, I started talking to some of my family where I grew up, and it all makes sense. And there are black people in my family. Genetically, black people in my family. It all makes sense. That's the reason why I am different from a lot of white people. A lot of my physical features are different. My hair naturally doesn't look this way. My beard naturally doesn't look this way. None of this looks this way. The amount of work that I have to put into my hair to get it to straighten out, like naturally, like I straightened it today. Naturally, it's already wanting to curl back up. It is hell that I play with this hair. So this is true. This is true. For this one specifically, I can tell you that it is true. I often wondered whenever I was a kid why my dating preference was black girls whenever I was little. My very first girlfriend was black. My daughter, she's been dating black boys since 3rd grade. Naturally, she just gravitates toward them. My sons naturally gravitate toward black girls. It just is what it is. So yeah, all of us tied back to that? That I can't speak on. But I can tell you, me specifically, and everyone that I grew up around who happens to be light skinned but ginger, every single one of us have black features. You could just tell by looking at us. And I have people hopping up in my comments. They're like, oh my God, you look like us. And I'm like, I know. It's exciting. I love it. And I'm glad to be here.
I just wanted to come on here and say that this is a movement. And you know what it took? The blacks and the whites coming together, and what did it take? It took the gingers. And I'm here for it. I've been loving every second of it. Because growing up as a ginger, it was hard. Like, we were the butt of everyone's jokes. But, like, at the end of the day, I think it made me stronger. And it made me funny. Like, you were the butt of the joke, but at the same time, you learned how to make jokes. And you learned to roll with it. And I don't know. I wouldn't change my hair color for the world. Like, it's cool now. I actually do like my hair now that I'm older. But growing up, yeah, as a kid, it was definitely hard. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, I remember distinctly praying to the Lord. I'm like, God, don't you give me no ginger. And like, halfly because like we are a little bit crazy. And I was like, the house can't have two of us because it's called ginger snap for a reason. But I remember praying like, don't give me a ginger because like I didn't want my baby to get picked on. So he didn't give me a ginger. He heard my prayer. He gave me a blonde hair, blue eyes. But I've been told by a lot of the black community that I look black, and I love it. I love all you guys have just been like, welcome home niece, like welcome fam, and like it's just amazing to see like people come together over this. And I love it because, you know, when we all die, we all go to heaven. Like, nobody's gonna be looking at our skin color. Nobody's gonna be looking at our hair color. Like, it's just gonna be. And like, I thought about it earlier, and I got actually like kind of emotional about it because it's like,
I'll make the point now. Yeah, he's not going by skin color. He's simply going by the content of righteousness that has been bestowed within his elect. Okay, I'll let her finish.
all the blacks have been like, welcome home, like, welcome to the fam, cuz. And like, that's exactly what it's gonna be like when we all die and we go to heaven, and like the Lord's gonna be like, welcome home, and it's gonna be like just like one big family. And I just feel like that's something that everything's been going on, and it's just like, spread peace, not love, if you know what I mean. All right.
Don't get out of pocket. Come correct. Watch that hard R. It's ginger.
You guys said we're expected at the cookout. This is our application to make the mac and cheese. Noodles are ready. I'm gonna set them to the side for now. Half a pound of smoked Gouda, half a pound of sharp cheddar, half a pound of Colby Jack, half a pound of mozzarella,
half a stick of butter, and a big tablespoon of garlic. This is garlic, onion, paprika, dry mustard, and Tony's. Stir it up because we're making a roux, and add half a cube of chicken bouillon, a couple tablespoons of flour, a pint of heavy whipping cream, a can of evaporated milk, half a block of cream cheese, half of your shredded cheese. Whisk it until it gets a little thick. Add in the noodles, add it to the pan, add the cheese on top, and bake at 350 for about 30 minutes. Okay, let's go take it to the cookout. This is the line to get the mac and cheese. It was a huge hit.
Welcome everybody to the mac and cheese extravaganza.
You guys said we're expected at the cookout. This is our application to make the mac and cheese.